This video is going to discuss finding, saving, and screenshotting images that we are going to be using on some different elements in this class. In particular, you might want this information when you're working on the part 2 of your competitor website logos. Now, for some of you, you might not need this. If you already know how to search and download images from the internet and how to screenshot them, then you could ignore this video. However, if you're not confident in how to do this, I try to give you some step-by-step instructions for both if you have a Mac and if you have a PC computer. All right, let's get going. First of all, downloading images. So if you are working on this, in this case, you're working on your competitor logos. Here I have done just a basic Google search, logo for popular sheet company, and I have this here. In order to make it easier, I'm now going to select the Images tab on this Google search, and now I have tons of images that I can look for. So I basically look to see if there's a logo here that I like that I want to use in my assignment. I'm going to pass by the ones that aren't already existing logos where they're, for instance, saying, hey, you could use our thing and make your own logo. And I'm going to go down and find an actual sheet company. And if I'm not getting good results here also, I'm going to go up here, and I could always add bedding or something like that to make my search more specific. Okay, here, I like this, 50 winks. I want to use this in my assignment. So what I'm going to do, first of all, click on it. And for many of you, it's going to open up a window here. And what you might be tempted to do is to download it from here. But don't do it, because many websites have their images formatted in such a way that if you directly save it or download it from here, it will only download a link to it as opposed to the actual image, and you won't be able to use that in your Figma assignment. All right, so what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to come here, and now I am going to save image to downloads. Another thing I could do, and how I did that was I did what's called a right click, and I will show up in the PowerPoint in a moment how to do a right click, but you have a right click and I just went to save images downloads. The other thing I could do is a screenshot, and this is where I'm going to use a command on my computer, and I'm going to drag and drop. Okay, so let me show you how you do those two different things. All right, so just to review what I just showed you, you open to the image on the original website, not on Google search page. You're going to right click, and I'll show you how to do that in just a sec, and then you save to downloads. Now honestly, you can save the images anywhere on your computer that you like. I just happen to save to downloads because it's really easy. All I have to do is click save to downloads. I don't have to name it. I don't have to select a folder, so it's quick. It's also easy for me to find when I'm about to use it in a project like that. And last, it's easy to delete because I don't want to have downloaded files take up a lot of space on my computer. All right, so let's talk about this idea of right-clicking. And so if you have a traditional mouse, you will have where you have two different sides, a left click and a right click. And a left click is what we do most of the time. If we're going to move like a cursor somewhere, we use a left click. So the right click is over on here, and when we do a right click, it will bring up a menu of different options. So you saw that when I was on the website, when I did a right click, it listed a bunch of options in what's called a dialog box, and I got to select one of them. Now, if you have a Mac mouse though, some of them do not have a right and a left click button. So for whatever reason, Apple decided a long time ago that this wasn't their preferred method of creating a mouse, and you can find some now that do. And you can, actually you can buy a PC Windows mouse and use it on a Mac. But if you have one of these Macs that don't have separate buttons, what you would do is with one hand, you would click the control button on your keyboard, and you would then just tap on your mouse, and that will bring up that same menu. Now, if you don't have a mouse and you're using you have a laptop, a Mac laptop, you would still hit that control button, and then you could just tap anywhere on that keypad or this trackpad, and it will bring up that right-click dialog box. The other thing you can do, so there's lots of options, is if you have a Mac keyboard, if you use two fingers and press in the middle of the trackpad, you can also bring up many of them will also bring up that dialog box. So that gives you a number of options. One of them should work for you if you have a Mac. Now, if you have a PC, and it's a laptop, many of the laptops actually have right and left click buttons here, and so you just click on that right button. And let's talk screenshots now. Sometimes a web designer will code an image so that it cannot be saved, and here they're worried about somebody using their images or a logo without permission. There would be particularly worried about somebody stealing their image. Now, we're education, and so we are not in the business of stealing anyone's image and doing anything wrong with it. Since we're education, we are under the fair use exception to copyright law, so it's fine for us to potentially take a screenshot of a logo that we can't download and use it in a class project. Again, we're not going to do anything nefarious with this logo. We're not going to be posting it online with putting like devil horns on it or something and saying this competitor is awful. We're just using it for a class project, so screenshots are fine. So let's talk about how we do a screenshot. All three keys have to be pressed down at the same time for this to work. So what I do is with my left hand, I will put my left thumb on command. I'll put my left pointer finger on shift, and then with my right hand, I will click on the F4 button. So again, all at the same time. And what will happen is you'll get a little icon that will then allow you to select. So let's see if I can do that right now. I'm going to hit Command Shift F4, and hopefully you can see that I have this little command here, and I can now drag and drop this box, and I will now have taken a screenshot of this. And you can probably see there's a preview of what I just took a screenshot over here. All right, so that is a Mac. So let me show you about a PCs. Now, PCs are more complicated. So while PCs are a lot easier for the right click, Macs are a lot easier for the screenshot. So PCs, there's a couple ways that we do this. Now, first of all, if you have a PC with Windows 11, which is a newer operating system, this has become easier, but this is fairly new when I'm making this video. And if you have something before Windows 10, it's not easy. So first, let me show you easy with Windows 11. And Windows 11 introduced a new app called the Snip tool, or that's what it has a more fancy name, but Snip is what we generally call it. And here they have a nice quick command to call up the Snip tool, and that is the Windows key, a Shift key, and the S key. And you would hit these all at the same time as well. So let me take you over to Windows here. And so I have, let's say I have this set of logos, and I wanted to take a screenshot of the logo. And let me just click on that there. Okay. And so when I'm doing a screenshot, it doesn't matter if I'm on the actual website or if I'm in this window. It's only for the downloading that I'm concerned about having it open to the actual site. All right, so I'm going to go down to this toolbar here, and I'm going to just click in Snip, and that will tell me there's a snipping tool. I'm going to open up the snipping tool, and you see there's a little box. Let me put it over here so you can see it easier. I'm going to take a new one, but also it gives you an option. How do you want to snip? And I would generally choose the rectangular snip. That's going to be the easiest snip to do. So now let me click New, and it is going to gray things out, which lets me know it's working, and then I'm going to have it there, and we have this here. And so this snip tool is nice. We can tell it where to save. So where do we want to save it as? And again, I just happen to like to save in downloads, so let's save. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. So that's the easy way with the newest function. Now, if we don't have Windows 11, if you have an operating system from before that, then you don't have a snip tool. So what we have to do is we have to do what's called the print screen. And this function has been around since the 90s. I remember I had my first computer when I was in grad school in the late 80s, and what we would have to do a screenshot was the same thing, essentially. We would have a command here. Back then, and we used to, I think, hit the Shift key, but now we hit the Windows key and print screen. And that will save a picture for you, or that will actually capture a picture for you, but it's not as straightforward as a snip tool. So let me show you. Let me go back to here. And I've done the Windows key print screen command, and what I'll need to do next is I'll need to open up a tool in which I can now save this picture. So Paint is the app that most people have on their PC computers. It has generally come standard. So just type in Paint and then open up Paint. Get rid of that. And all I have to do here is now paste what that print screen command gave me. So two ways I can do it. I can do Control V, so just hit the Control key and the V key, and that will save it there. I'm going to get rid of it though, because the other thing I can do is just hit the paste and paste. Then that's there, and then all I would have to do is save it. File, save as, and then I can decide where I'm going to save it. All right, so this is how we are going to deal with that. Let's go back to our PowerPoint. So that's the print screen. It's just a little bit more laborious, and here is just some screenshots of what we did. We looked for Paint, and then we pasted it. That's what it looks like, and then we save it. Because technology changes so rapidly, I want you to realize that what the shortcuts, the conventions I'm teaching in this video are true for as of the month, day, year that I'm teaching it, but things change really rapidly in the tech world. So if you're looking at this a couple years from now, things could have changed, but you know what? You get an idea of what was done before, and all you have to do is Google, and you can find lots of things. So if, for instance, you have a Mac and for some reason Command-Shift F4 no longer includes a shortcut for taking a screenshot, then just Google Mac, and then write in Command, Shift, F4, how to do it now, ? And you will find new ways of doing things. So you will find that you will be able to get more up-to-date things. And there are so many people who provide YouTube video content with really up-to-date tech hacks. And so I won't always be telling you the most up-to-date hacks. Sometimes I will, such as in this one. But if I'm telling you to do a command that you don't understand or know how to do on your computer, Google it. I promise you, you will find information about how to get it done. But if not, if a Google search doesn't work, you can't find the information on your own, of course, please email your professor and let your professor know, and we'll be glad to lead you to some resources.